Open up the family court. Save our children. Stop false adoption.
Save our children.
Save our children.
Open up the family court.
Open up the family court.
Save our children.
Save our
78,000 children went missing in the UK last year during the first pandemic. That's 178,000 children that have just disappeared. That's not one of your socks, that's not one of your gloves, that's not your last £5 note when you go into the shop to buy some milk falling out your pocket and you can't buy the milk. This is a child. It's 178,000 of them that have just disappeared. Come on, that's like everyone in the street just disappeared and never be seen again. How does that happen? It shouldn't happen. It is happening, but it should never happen, and we should never allow any abuse to a child. You know, that's why I become a children's campaigner, because I cannot stand what's going on with our children. And to be honest with you, how many parents I've come across that are very similar to myself and other people as well. Some are a little bit worse, some are a little bit better, but at the end of the day, we've all got something in common. They've done their very best to get our children off of us, right? At the end of the day, who's lost out in this? We've lost, obviously, but our children have lost. Thank you.
Alright, I'm here with Jordan at the Holborn Central Family Court, and there's a big, there's a sort of demo going on right now to do with the social services taking away their kids, and yeah, do you want to tell
Well,
today your story?
We've come here today for the final proceedings for my son's adoption care plan, and this court here and Lambeth Social Services, in fact, that's operating one of the biggest paedophile rings as well, I have mental health, and they've used my partner's, my ex-partner's autism against her to state that she couldn't care for the child. I've never been arrested for no crime towards any child.
You got a clean record and all that?
I've got a bit of violence on my record, but I've got no criminal charges on myself or anything towards any sort of child.
No.
So for the courts to treat parents the way they have today, especially parents with mental health and disabilities, you're meant to work with the parents, not take the kids away from the parents and make their mental health and disabilities feel worse.
Right. So what do you think they're getting out of it? Do they get money or?
So today, obviously, I've been told that they've just placed the adoption order through for the adoptees to have my son, and I believe they are in it for the money.
Yeah.
All for the money.
So I heard from another demo that they get like a certain amount of money from each kid that they take.
That's what I've heard. They get each bonus for when the child goes into long-term foster care and they move from the foster care system into the adoption proceedings. The social worker for that case gets a bonus. Now, once that case has been dealt with through courts, once your social worker has dealt with your child's case, they would then move on to a different borough, i.e. my son's social worker that we're here in court for today. She was a Lambeth social worker. After getting us into court to remove our child, she has then left the Lambeth social services and gone to work for Southwark social services. Just for that transfer, from moving from one county to another, from borough to borough, she got an extra £10,000 on her pay.
£10,000?
An extra £10,000 for a bonus.
Really? Wow.
Lambeth Social Services, I've been told, from when I was in a contact centre seeing my daughter, which we've got another case on here in June for a 5-day trial. Me and my ex-partner's been told by a contact supervisor, who has already confirmed the suspicions of Lambeth Social Services operating a paedophile ring. Now, another parent that I know, well, my mum's best friend, who had the same proceedings, her children been adopted. A child for under the age of 5, how is that child then attending a hospital for treatment for vaginal penetration?
At what age was she?
The child was under the age of 5 and got taken to hospital for vaginal penetration. This child was adopted from this specific course.
Yeah. The Holborn one.
So, if you've got children in the care system, please stand with us. Everyone support one another and fight for our children back.
Right. Alright, thank you, man.
I'm standing outside this court today because this court here has removed 2 of my children and placed them for adoption. The reasons why they placed my children for adoption is, one, because I suffer with mental health and tried committing suicide in the past 4 years. The second reason being is the mum suffering with autism, and the judge has told her to get help from the Autistic Society. Because the mum suffers with mild autism, the Autistic Society weren't wanting to help the mother. So that left her stuck, getting no help for her autism. And these courts here have used that fact to take the children off me and the mother. But do you know what? You're wrong. We can look after your children whether you suffer with mental health or disabilities. Discriminating people with illnesses, you're scum, right? You should not be taking children away with parents with disabilities. All you guys say is we want to work with the families and keep the families together. It's all lies. All you guys do is make lies up in your reports, get them before the judge, and the judge goes with your agreement. So the judges are in it too, people. I've also got to be back here in June for a 5-day hearing. And trust me, it's not going to get any easier for you guys here. It's going to get a whole lot harder for you guys to be here. And knowing the fact that one of the London boroughs and London borough authorities are operating in paedophile rings, i.e. Lambeth local borough, and the judges are not even investigating this. We've been to the police and we've now started with telling you guys. So what are you guys going to do about the children that are in the care system, that are needing to be in the care system, and you guys are taking the wrong children of the wrong parents?
Because I think the turnaround, I think the fast numbers, I don't put their attention on the wrong direction, and that's why they're...
Like it's been said in the past, people, all our children are just money figures to these people. They take your child from long-term foster care, and once they get into the adoption process, that social worker gets a bonus. Did you also know that once the social worker has done the adoption, and they change from one borough to another borough, they also get a bonus for doing that too? It's wrong. An extra £8,000 for moving one borough to another borough. That is wrong for stealing our children. You guys should be held accountable for what you guys are doing. Not for the parents that love their children with all their hearts, make them happy and smile. All you do is you rip families up and you rip them to pieces.
And then that's the result of it.
And this is now the results of it. So many young parents killing themselves.
And teenage children as
And
well.
teenage parents too. It was only last week that a man from Manchester killed himself after a non-molestation order got put on him, and there was not even no criminal charges on him towards any child. How do you feel about that? About a man taking his own life just for fighting to see his children? You're all scum.
For you to be kept with your child. That doesn't happen at all. What happens is you start working with them, and all they will do is work against you to remove your child. You ask yourself, what is the beneficial thing for someone to lie to steal a child? If I turn around and tell you £32,500 for your child being paid for adoption is the main reason why a social worker will lie and manipulate a report, so the local social work team will then be in the best position possible to remove somebody's child. This is disgusting, you know. I come in contact with these scumbags myself, about 2 years ago. And to be honest with you, I've only just recently gone through this situation where I've lost my child as well. Guys, I'm not a monster. Some of these parents here are not monsters, right? We don't deserve to have our children taken from us. They use a risk tool now called the future risk of emotional harm. That's on the counter probability, right? So that's like me saying, please don't get on that 521 bus. By the time you get to that bus stop, just down the road there, somebody's going to die on that bus or the bus is going to crash. We all know I'm making things up. But however, a social worker can come into your house, start working against you straight away, tell you, please work with us, we will work with you. End of the day, guys, it's all for the counter. It's all basically to pay for their lifestyles. If you start following the money and the local adoption agencies and fostering agencies and them sort of people now, and once you start looking into them, you actually see who the main shareholders and stakeholders are in these companies. Guess what they are? 9 times out of 10, they're a social worker that works for the local authority that owns one of these companies, right? So they're benefiting from the more amount of money that they can generate from taking the child. Like, let's say for instance, Sainsbury's up the road now has got to sell so many products before they can start making their money back. Well, they've got to do that with our children. They won't turn around and say it's selling children. They won't say it's about selling children. But I tell you now, I'm outside the family court and I know in the UK we have a major problem, right, within social services and local authorities looking to profit off the back of children.
We have a proper epidemic.
Right, this is a pandemic. This is something that people should not even be out here speaking about today, right? Because this should not be happening. This shouldn't be happening. Why I'm not being funny or nothing, right? Why does it take parents to come out and talk about this, right? How many people are actually ignorant to what's really going on within the UK? Our children are being stolen one every 20 minutes, right? For what? For profit. So your child at home, your niece, your nephew, your grandson, your granddaughter, they're all worth money to these corrupt scumbags, right? So Alexander McFarlane, when am I coming to put tea on your lawn? I will be coming there shortly. I've had to deal with my own case now, but now I'm taking it up a notch for you, right? What you are doing and what you're complicit to is what is the most heinous crime I've ever come across, right? You allow social workers to lie, to perjurise themselves in your courts. It's okay. It's okay to commit perjury as long as you're stealing the child and you're all going to profit off it. So anyway, 2 years ago today, well, I say 2 years ago today, 2 years ago, I started getting involved with this because obviously my eyes got opened up because I was also someone about to fall victim to the social services to lose my child. My child was only adopted, has only been placed for adoption in the last couple of weeks and we lost my case for my child, right? And now I'm out here today, I'm going to tell you, basically when they come into my life, I thought, you know what, it's just going to be a quick chat and we're going to be gone on our way, right? No, I've been a bit of a naughty chap over my years, right? I've been in trouble quite a few times, but them things there that I've been in trouble for is the very reason they use it in a way to get into my family life to remove my child. I've been in trouble for all sorts of stuff. I'm not going to stand out here on the pavement and tell you I'm a saint, because I'm not. But however, I didn't abuse no child. I've never hurt a child. I've never done anything like that to a child. I've been in trouble many, many years ago, you know, for theft and stupid crimes like that. I've been done for assault on police officer. I accept that, yes, I can't take that away. But you know what, guys? Did I really deserve to not be raising my child? Right? Do I deserve not to have a child? I've never done nothing wrong to a child. Right? So, does that really excuse these scumbags for not allowing me to meet my child? Does it excuse these scumbags for not allowing me to even meet my child, say hello or goodbye to my child? What they want me to do is a storybook, yeah? Put a storybook together for my child, but your child is not allowed to say to her dad, hello dad, or any of that. She's not allowed to see me. So I've got a hope in 18 years time, or 16 years time, when my daughter comes away, she'll come and find me, and she comes to find me. They turned around and said, in the court, they're going to make sure my daughter knows how much I fought for her, right? That is what I can't get my head around. You'll say, you're going to tell her how much I fought for her, and I couldn't have done any more. I turned my whole life around, right? I didn't turn my life around for me. I turned my life around for my daughter. Because you know what? The moment she come in, as soon as I knew I was going to have a child, my whole life changed. I went from wanting to die so many times a year because I was suffering with PTSD, not having a cause for life, right? I had no reason to live. Then I had a child on the way, my whole life changed. The whole thought process of wanting to kill myself all the time because I couldn't deal with the PTSD, where I get stabbed up continuously in my dreams. Guys, you know, it's the most horrible situations that I can think any human being can be put through, right? You're treated like you're a monster, but you've done nothing wrong, right? You're treated because you might have mental health problems, you might have learning difficulties. Me, I've got mental health problems and I've been in trouble with the police a fair few times. But that doesn't stop me from being a good dad. Yes, I've made mistakes in my past, but last recorded mistake was over 4 years ago. So at the end of the day, guys, people can chat amongst the groups, Billy's this or Billy's done that, whatever. You can say what you like. I'll be honest with you, like I said to everyone and anyone that gets close to me, I'll tell you all my secrets. I've got nothing to hide, right? So guys, end of the day, that's a little bit about me of why I've been out on the pavement doing what I'm doing. I'm now out on the pavement because this young man and his wife have now lost their child, right? So that's the reason I'm out here today. I'm out here to stand with Jordan, I'm out here to stand with Megan, and I'll stand with any parent in the UK that has to go against what I can't get my head around is the most heinous crimes you will ever come across in your life. It is absolutely disgusting. How can we be, in this day and age, right, in a situation where social work could get away with lying? What about body cams? Where's the body cams? Why don't we introduce a 12 jury? Why don't we do something about the situation which is already in the public eye, that is something majorly going on wrong within the family court system? Why do they just cover it up? That's not right. There should be no cover up.
To one of the biggest players in Goldman Sachs, right? They even had the Clintons at their wedding. That tells you another clue, right? The Clintons, yeah? Hillary Clinton has been in the firing line for a good few years now to do with the accusations of her connection with child exploitation and child trafficking, right? That shows you how just interconnected, that's two dots alone, yeah? That man, his wife, having a fucking wedding, had the Clintons there, and this is a man who's got 4 fostering agencies under his wing, is investing in arms manufacturing, weapons and submarine parts, and he just made £17 million last year, I believe it was last year, in profit off of those fostering agencies. Now, if that doesn't start opening up your minds and eyes, if you're not going through this and you haven't learned about it, and you're one of the fortunate to not experience this heinous, traumatic ride of a lifetime, yeah, you're very fortunate, but do some research, because it's all out there. The papers are trying to expose what they can, but they won't cover these cases, because these lot degrade them from doing so. They put a D notice on them to stop them being involved where otherwise they can be in criminal proceedings in the public gallery, but not in here. We know why, because they don't want their fucking gravy boat, their actual custard and their apple pie being played about with from outsiders. They want to have their actual arena closed for the very private purposes because of what they are doing, because the corrupt practice that's going on behind those doors. That's why. Bottom line, it's got nothing to do with Data Protection Act to the child. You've got bloody adoption agencies putting children, people's children, all over their bloody websites, like an Argos catalogue. So where's the difference? If you're going to actually advertise them to anyone and everyone in society, where's the difference? It's not about protecting the child's best interest. It's not about putting the child first or ultimately the child's welfare. It is about their investment of time and the money they generate and how the money changes hands from one person to another, one department to another. Bottom line, wake up Britain, it's time.
Thank you.